Yeah, you know what time it is. Hold the F up. Off the Cuff Radio. We live and direct. Episode 376. I'm your host, King Eric the Great, alongside T Max with the facts.
What it do? It's that OTC, the place to be, up on the 6 days of Fresh, a.k.a. Friday Fun Day. We are doing it tonight. Shout out to our co-host, a lot of fan, man. Lady Chinchilla Soilla. The guillotine is in the house, and we ready to rock it, man.
Yes, man. And this is a big show tonight, man. This is probably one of my personal favorites that we're doing this year because 2 weeks ago we had General Steele, and this week we have his partner in crime. And these two together have made history. I'm talking about laying down timeless classics, set endless trends with the Duck Down, Smif N Wesson, and Boot Camp Click. And the cold part is they never fell off musically. They never compromised because here we are in 2021, and these two are still laying it down. So here to talk about his album, Priceless, and to give us an in-depth look of his history and his inner thoughts, let's all welcome Tek from Smif N Wesson, y'all.
Yeah.
Shalom. What's good, you fellas?
What's
going
good, my
on,
brother?
Man? Alaikum salam.
You hear me good enough?
What it be? Yeah,
yes,
we can
sir.
hear you.
Okay, what's happening? Just want to say thank y'all for allowing me to have this platform to talk to y'all and the people out there that want to hear it. So, what it do with it? Let's get it.
Let's
Definitely,
go, man. First of all, we played that track that you did with Conway the Machine off your new album, man. That thing is rough, man. It's rougher than Project Biscuits, man. And I just got to say that for real.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, as soon as I clicked in, I just heard the last piece of it. So I was like, all right, so it's perfect timing, man. God is great. I want to say thank you to Derringer. He produced that. Thank you to my brother Conway the Machine. He laced it up for me. And we here with Priceless.
Man, I mean, Chet, this is this is an honor and for you being one half of one of the most legendary, one of the most influential, one of the dopest groups ever with Smif N Wesson, man. I mean, you guys did during that time back in the day and still do define today the essence, the energy, the creativeness, the awesome aura of what hip-hop culture truly is. I mean, words cannot express how much, we are humbled to have you on. And obviously listen to that opening track, the King had laced us with to start the show off. It's obvious that, lyrically, you've still run that marathon over 25 years and haven't lost a step in momentum and breath. And now you bring in one of the most heralded, in my mind, a living legend already with Conway, especially with that whole Griselda clique. How did that come about in terms of you bringing him in on that? Because, these guys are still carrying the flag for the hip-hop King and myself grew up listening to. And, to see a living legend like yourself with a legend in the making with him is like just a hip-hopper's dream. How did that come together?
First and foremost, I just say thank you for all that, man. I'm humbled just to be here still. Just the vessel of the Most High to do it, man. And that actually came together because as they was coming up in the ranks of going through it, me and Khan had started building a bond and relationship. And when they would drive up, he would come through the crib. He would hit me, and we would, hang out every now and then. And that's where he was still doing early joints, 100 Bullets, and he was riding 100 Corpse and all that joint. He had a joint with Skyzoo. So Skyzoo is another Brooklyn brother who pen is mighty, is crazy. And we always just, kept in contact. And, in every crew or every street hood, every street gang, there's just certain members that click in different ways with each other. There's never no beef or no problem with all the other people or members. You know, you just have a certain bond with energies connect with each other. And you know, that was my brother, and he just kept it. We kept in touch with each other like that. And one day while we was on, Smif N Wesson was on the Mobb Deep tour. Me and Smif N Wesson and Mobb Deep was touring together. We had a show in Niagara Falls. So we had rented a crazy ass Airbnb out there for the time we was out there. So I hit Con, told him we gonna be out there, you know, come through, whatever. Introduced him to Prodigy. That was the first time him and Prodigy met. And from there, it's just been really love ever since. And I just happened to ask Derringer, Con, yo, I need a joint. It was like, yo, of course, say no more.
Now, one thing about it, Tek, is, you know, King will tell you that I'm like the biggest Griselda fan. And one thing that always was so impressive is the grind these guys had. Now, you said you knew that you had met these guys prior to. You, you know, and Steele, you know, collectively known as Smif N Wesson, you all have already in the pantheon of all-time greats in hip-hop history. So you all know the dudes that it takes to lay down that foundation for making, you know, magnificent music. When you first heard these guys, you know, because a lot of people don't know that Griselda Records was founded almost, you know, I believe it was, 2002, 2004. Did you know when you first heard them that these guys were destined for fame, from veterans such as yourself who already had been there to that mountain?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I always told them that. I always told them, like, y'all could be now. It's like you hear it every time, all the time, comparison of the Ghost and Ray. I was like, Duke, don't stop chasing y'all. Don't change your format. Don't stop chasing your dream, B. I know when they used to come up here, they had a little studio session. They would invited me to come out, come to the shows, and again, it would just be. We'd just be vibing it up in the back. My man Malek that rocks with him, that move with him. We just all, I guess it's the dark skinned brother thing, you know what I mean? So we just always kept it tight like that and 100 with each other. And I always told him, yo, come on, be anything there, I got you. I see what y'all doing. I like what y'all doing. I love what y'all doing. Just keep doing it. Don't change for nothing and keep rocking, man. Just keep chasing it. And this is where we at today with them.
Definitely.
And so far with the Priceless album, I'm talking, who else you have you been rocking with as a guest and beat production wise?
As far as Priceless, I got my brother Rock Marcy up on the joint.
Yeah.
I got my brother Sheik Luch from D Block LOX on the joint. I got my brother from MOP Fame up on the joint, Tripe Diesel from Wu-Tang Ghostface Camp. I got my ox from Philly, Dark Low. So we had just recorded that right before he caught his bid and went in and did that time that he had to do. We had really just knocked that off. As far as production wise, my man Draws did a couple of joints. Draws from up in Poughkeepsie. My brother Joe Milley did a couple of joints. He got the intro on Priceless. This is, I want to say, my second piece that I did. He got the intro, so now he's like, yo, you can't even do a project without me producing the intro for you. So it feels good when people want to give you the dopeness. They want to give you and hear you over certain joints. Like it's like two heavyweight champions going at it for the unified belt. You know what I mean? So that's what makes a good fight. Like Mayweather used to say, yo, I'm not ducking or running from nobody. You just got to bring the fight. Like you going pound for pound, and that's what the dope producers bring out of for me myself as an artist. I don't know if anyone even compares the music to a boxing analogy. I'm just a crazy boxing fan. I used to box before I even got into music. That was the dream I was chasing. I never even really wanted to rap, so to say. But my PNC wrote my first verse for me, and God blessed me with the talent, and here we go. Oh, I can't forget my boy GQ Beats. He did the illest joint up there, the dedication to Big. Definitely another one of my Gemini brothers, the greatest to ever do it in my eyes and heart. Don Knotts did the Boot Camp for Life joint with my brother, rest in peace, Sean Price for life on it. My big brother, my big little brother, Buckshot. So I had to keep it in the family for that.
Definitely not. Now, you said, you already, literally, throwing the punches with the hands before you put it down on the punchlines on the paper, writing. When you really, really started to get your, legs under you, dodging, weaving, bobbing, and moving, who are some of your influences that help hone your style in terms of, really developing your art, with the verbal, slap boxing?
he digging deep now. To me, man, I'm a simple Muslim brother, man. To me, the best, I learned from the best those that came before me and some of my peers. And, like I said, I wasn't really thinking of being an MC, but those who helped me, I would have to give it up to Big, G-Rap, and Slick Rick. Like, those are some of the people that these individuals verbally and constructively painted pictures with words on your mental that stuck in the front, the back, the side of your mind. You can actually see and feel, like you can touch, like you was right there as that act was going down with them. That's how vividly these guys pens and how mighty they pens and verbal would come across on the page or the paper, and then once they combine it with the track, the beat, it was like you was in another time. Like you could literally leave your body and be right there where they at. Like people say, you fly on the wall. It was like if it was a dice game, you was right there betting when you listening to the music that these people was putting out. Now,
one thing about it, Tek, is, when you break down...
Oh, my fault.
When
not
you...
because you're with
no,
I can't leave out my brother Steele. I cannot leave out Steele and Buck and Sean Price.
Definitely.
Say it again?
Oh, no, yeah, but when you break it down, man, when you named Big, Slick, and G-Rap. Now, G-Rap is personally my favorite MC of all time. And, of course, those three individuals that you mentioned are, for many, the undisputed kings of storytelling and emceeing. Slick Rick dropped his debut, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, in 1988. Of course, that was the same year that Kool G Rap and DJ Polo would drop Road to Riches. And, of course, Big would make his official rhyming debut in 1992 off of the Who's the Man soundtrack with Party and Bullshit. Now, you all pretty much would make your debut, on Black Moon, Black Smif N Wesson, of course, You the Man, off of the End of the Stage album in 1993. And, of course, you and Steele, with Smif N Wesson would drop, your debut, in 1994. So within a 10-year period, you all are coming into that era of what we call, some of us hip-hop historians, at least myself, the second golden age of hip-hop. So you all are,
the second golden age? What's the first golden age?
The first golden age is considered to be 1988 with KRS and Public Enemy. And then, of course, the second golden age is considered to be the years, by some people say 95 specifically, but I'll even take it back to 1993. That's with Tupac, Big, Dr. Dre, everybody during that era, you know, and then there's what some would say, the third golden age, which would be, 95, 96, which is, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang, which could also go back to 1993. Roughly that 10-year period between 1988 and 1998 encompassed three of the greatest years of hip-hop music. When you look at all the albums, all the music that was released during that time, you all included. What was that era like during that time in terms of when you all, got on down and, of course, appearing first on the End of the Stage album, and, of course, with y'all debut that would come the next year? What was the feel of that era like during that time?
I mean, well, honestly, I this is the first time I even heard of the three golden eras. I never heard the first golden era from the times that you said. I always only heard from 92 to, I want to say maybe 96, 97 as the golden era of hip-hop. I never heard of 1, 2, and 3 that was put into those years of range like that before. Not saying I'm testing your hip-hop historian or anything, because everyone has their different emotions and opinions of what hip-hop has gave to them and what they have taken from it and gotten from it. But
understood.
To basically answer the question, it was life, really, B. That's the simplest word to put it, because, again, before we came out, when I say we, I'm talking Smif N Wesson, because Black Moon did come before us. So before we came out and Black Moon came out, as the family, for me personally, I wasn't a big fan of hip-hop. I mean, I was brought up in a musical family. My mom was a minister. My dad would play drums and saxophone and horns for, like, some of the. He even sat in some of James Brown bands sometimes and covered for some of his men. And my mom would be behind a pulpit. My uncles made records, so I was brought up in a different type of music environment. I guess that's where my love for the soul music and such vibes for the music come from. So to put it together, like I said, it was life, because for me, I didn't know nothing about that music. I was just more into the street aspects of hip hop and getting a reputation and making bones and solidifying myself as a one that's in the streets. So until I was introduced to music, like I got introduced to hip-hop from Stretch and Bobbito shows, like the mixtape eras. So when that happened, now that's when life took a turn for me. It was like, okay, so this shit is really happening. It's a whole nother world now. My world is hip hop has chose me to be a part of this now. So it's combining my life and my world into this hip hop music thing. So I'm seeing something different. Now in my high school years, I see a Rakim pull up in a big 300E Benz, fucking with dropping off chicks or some of his mans that's around me. I see Craig G from the Juice Crew, who I went to school with. I see Gemini, the Gifted One. I see.
Oh man, Funk Soul Sensation, yeah.
I see Onyx. I see Sticky Fingers, and I see Fredro Starr, and I'm going to the barbershop with these dudes getting a baldy with a Timberland tree just cut into my head because these niggas was nice at barbering. So now I see the stories that's evolved in my life as these is coming through the music now. I hear it in the speakers with a Slick Rick, or I'm hearing Roll to the Riches now, and I'm like, wow, this is like, shit, I'm used to this. Now I can identify with it and take this back to my peers who might not even be on that level yet. And that's how when we came out, when we were sleeping in the studios with Black Moon, like we was fresh meat thrown to the lions while they was recording into the stage. We didn't know anything about arranging a song or write a 16, right, or put a bridge here or do this, make your voice do this, because Buck was breaking out the melodic tunes and the shit. We was like mesmerized, like, whoa,
right,
this dude is fucking incredible. So to witness that and then be a part of that and go on the road with these people that you seeing, now you becoming part of this family, like this Omar, like the fucking mafia, this omerta that we see, and this thing of ours is really gelling together because you're going across seas, you're going to different cities, and you're seeing these guys that you're hearing on the radio, and y'all chopping it up. Of course, you know we got the bonding medicine, smoking the good chocolate weed, so everybody is mingling and bonding and getting a feel for each other, and they breaking down, yo, my life is this, pop, 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 or word, you do this, that. So now it's becoming, again, it's just something that you living and breathing it now, and taking it back to you when you to your people and your family once you leave that side of the world or that venue for the tour. You still got to be that same person when you go back home to your mom and your uncles and shit like that, your cousins, and they waiting for you to come home with them stories of how it went on the road, and you just like, you had to be there to fully get a grasp for it.
And you know what was dope about that era, man, was that everybody had their own unique, distinctive sound. Like you had Mobb Deep,
yeah,
you had
definitely.
Naughty by Nature,
definitely.
You had Onyx, you had y'all had Wu-Tang, and it was friendly competition, and that's what made it so dope, because it was like it wasn't no beefing situation, but y'all listened to other people and like, all right, we gotta come live like these dudes, we gotta go harder like these dudes.
Right,
so it made
right.
great music.
You sharpening each other's swords and skills, but like you said, everyone had their own distinctive sound. Even if we was all dropping that same week, you knew straight off the bat once that first MC's bar come, you was like, oh, that's definitely Mobb Deep. Oh, that's Wu-Tang. Nah, that's Wu-Tang right there. It wasn't no, oh, we all doing the same thing, sounding alike. I'm not knocking anything that's happening that we listening to in the world right now. I'm just saying you knew and you was easily able to identify. There was no second guessing of who that was when you heard that joint.
Yeah, man. And one thing about it, tell us about, how you and Steele came to be a group, because when we had, like he said, we had him on a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he, it's one thing to be in a group, but the friendship, the brotherhood you have, he was just so enthused about talking about it in terms of, how how y'all are brothers. What was it like when y'all first met and when y'all really found out that as this journey progressed, even from a nascent phase, that you two realized that, we could really, really be something with this?
Man, it was so much deeper than rap. I won't trade my partner, my PSP, my brother, for no other partner in this game in the world. I think he's one of the dopest MCs out there that could go up against anybody, hold his own rate. So, and that's from my heart that I believe that. But when we first met, it was like I said, he was doing. Steele always been his pen game is fucking immaculate. Like, his pen game is like a fucking a swordsman, a Japanese swordsman, and a calligraphy writer at the same time. Like, he can cut you, slice you, and guard you, and slice the fat off you without taking no meat off. With his lyrics, his versatility is just so crazy at times that I'm like, God damn, how what the fuck do I have the right to even try to keep up with this dude? Like, it's just that's how his shit blows my mind. But he probably told you, our family member, our cousin Cookie had Big Old Pimp, who you had mentioned a lot on The Shining, and rest in peace, our brother Rambo, Sean Grady, who we dedicated this to song PNC. Those two guys are from my part of town, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, Brevoort, where I grew up later on in life. They introduced us and put us together. And from the introduction, it was like we never left each other's side from there. But he was so much more advanced in the writing and the music than I was. Like, he was doing talent shows. He was tearing niggas' heads off in talent shows. I was just doing security for him on the talent shows, keeping niggas off the stage and keeping chicks at bay from him because that's who he was. He had the flat top rocking a bunch of fly low, and it was just like, I can't let nobody hurt my brother. So, I mean, and then once he brought me my first rap and was just like, yo, here, say this, he wrote it, I was like, oh, man, this nigga, he's doing too much, B. And I don't know, the most I just took charge, and he just made it be what it was. From there, I always just say thank you and keep trying to push the pen and just make sure he's I don't want to say happy, but he feel I compliment his style as well as he compliments mine.
Yeah, y'all like the yin and the yang.
Yeah, day and night, white liquor, dark liquor, for real.
Yeah, because we're gonna get into it later on in the show. Because we're me and Key, we're still laughing about that story about, how y'all had to go to Shaolin to get Raekwon, for the Black Trump video and everything, and how y'all and he was. Man, that story was hilarious. I mean, he's like, y'all had to do. He's like, look, it was literally an old mafia movie. Like, we had to go like 3 times to secure the deal. King and me were just laughing. I mean, we just fell out laughing.
Yeah, nah, we've been through the trenches, brother. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, we each played our own specific roles in the group, and we each know them, and we each know each other's role in group and strong points and weaknesses. So we really are each other's crutch, and we are really sharpening each other. Like, for the Black Trump, I picked that beat. I said, yo, this would be dope if we get on it, because I was fucking with the producer, Soup, my man Super, who did the joint self. And of course, Steele is the negotiator, so he puts it together like that. And again, me and Ray built the bond, and from there it was just like, oh man, we have to do this, and to get another legend like Ralph McDaniels to shoot the video.
Yeah, man,
it's fucking incredible, and he did one-on-one video from Soul in the Hole shit. So it was like, oh my gosh, I might be mixing up. I don't even think Ralph McDaniels shot Black Trump.
Man, look, Ted, we gotta shout out Ralph McDaniels, the creator of Video Music Box. Up until you said this, I don't know how many of our listeners may have known this already, that he did the Black Trump video. But then again, this is back in going back to 98. When we started seeing MTV and BET respectively start giving shout out to the video directors as well. But man, I mean, and you all are about 5 years rather into the game, because that album comes out, in 98. So we're taking it back to 93 because this whole Duck Down movement, I mean, we're seeing Black Moon basically come through, Drew Ha, Buckshot, I mean, Evil E. I mean, then, of course, you got OGC, you got Helter Skelter, Ruck and Rock. We got you guys. I mean, you all are, like, steadily forming, like, you know, Voltron. You know, you're like the Constructicons becoming Devastator, you know, laying, you know, waste to the opposition.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so when you...
Talk. He said Constructicons forming Devastator. Yo, I always loved that Decepticon name, man. That shit is so powerful.
Yeah, man. I mean, because basically, you know, I would liken, you know, I would say that whatchamacallit, when you look at it, when you break down the files, like, you know, you had Mixmaster, that was a cement truck, that was a mad genius of mixing everything and coming out with this badass, you know, concoction of dope. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, of course, you know, you all make your debut. And tell Steele, man, because of the work, and I apologize in advance, because I actually have this, and I got to send it to him on IG. I'll send it to you as well. It'll be coming from Nike TNVA. That's my handle there. But I actually have the 1994 Source magazine that you all are actually featured in the Sure Shot singles when Bucktown and Let's Get It On, when you all are first featured, like next, you know, Sure Shot singles next to Blow, and I still have that magazine. You know, and that was over 25 years ago. We first hear Bucktown, and I mean, it is just, it was just something that we were like, man, I mean, we hear your verse. Got 5 MCs that want to come test we. Got new sustain getting over the trees. Bring on your sound kids, drowned by my master. Kill your body, boy, take your lover for hostage. Not niggy, not the 4 shots empty. On the violator that was sent out to get me. I'm tore up from the floor and everything's black, but I'm still pointing, ready to buck it. We were like, whoa.
That's one of them verses that just get you hype up, man. Like, if you in the gym, that makes you want to hit them weights even harder. You know what I'm saying? Just why when you hear a certain verse, that's one of them.
Right. See, that's. I think I might have been even mad that day I recorded that, because they always used to tease me about my Mike Tyson voice, so I had to come hard on the mic back in the, like that, man, and until I was able to appreciate the voice that Allah had given me and able to use it as the true instrument. But I was like, listen, man, I'm gonna fuck somebody up in the studio. Y'all niggas keep joking and laughing. Wait till I finish this verse. But it was plenty of nights like that. A session at the Dog Hilly, all types of shit, man. It was so fun, man. Again, the best writing, it was life, like living, like, because like, I can't say it wasn't a dream of ours to make a record or nothing like that. Once we got into the studio, I think the dream, we realized it was in reach. And then, like, now it's like, I want to hear my shit on the radio. Fuck that. Because coming up in the hood in Brownsville and East New York and the style, like, when we was in the East at the Dog Hilly, that's where, shout out to Mama Yates, Mama Love, where she opened up her heart and doors, which was Steele's and Top DOG mother, for all of us to live there and share homes at different times. Like, me and Steele lived together for years after that in Canarsie, East New York. And around the corner from Pennsylvania, in the park, we would see Dr. Fex pull up in fucking wide-body Benzes, like literally pull the Benzes up into the park while we in there shooting basketball, playing handball, smoking weed. Like, who the fuck are these niggas? Like, this is hip-hop? This what rap do? Oh, my God. We got to be in some rappers, my nigga. This is what life is about. And from there, just having that, seeing that shit is like, you a moth to the flame. So now you're like, yeah, I gotta do this. And then you start pushing it and grinding harder and harder until you see that dream becoming more of a reality. But to all the youngsters out there, male, female, don't stop chasing, B. Don't stop chasing your dream. Don't give up on your talent, on yourself. Keep it in the heart you haven't made, because it can definitely happen, and it will. We just got to believe it, stay true, keep the faith, and keep pushing.
That's inspiration.
And another thing, too, is what made the crew distinct is also the way y'all used to push records. Like, we talked with Steele, we was talking about how y'all used to put out the vinyl, the B-sides, and the remixes and stuff like that. And that would make...
Yeah, Drew High and Buckshot and them was marketing geniuses back in them days. We was like one of the first crews to go independent route after that, you know what I mean? So thank them guys for that. Like, we all came together and spoke about it and agreed on it, but if it wasn't for them two young, hungry lions, shit would be different.
Now, Tek, tell us about what the marketing across the industry was like back in the day, because this is before social media as we know it. Shout out to the Source magazine, because the Source magazine started in 1988, so they're about 5 years in when you all make your official debut on Wax in 93. What was just the marketing with labels in terms of artists? Like, what was it like when you really started seeing, big, when, Nas came out the same year y'all did, Method Man, Redman dropped albums the same year y'all did.
Even actually, Nas came out before us with Live at the Barbecue.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, of course, with Main Source back in 1990, but Illmatic would come out in 94. So right. His album, dropped, of course, and he would be on the Zebrahead in 1992, the Zebrahead soundtrack. But in terms of his album, but his album would actually come out the same year, 94, that y'all did. What was it like in terms of the marketing? What was it like in terms of advertising, doing shows? Because, and just the whole media, because the only media we had back in the day was the Box, Yo MTV Raps, and Rap City. So this is how, this is... Go ahead, yeah.
To sum it up, I call that shit gladiator school, dude, honestly. Because, serious, like, we came into this game as teenagers. Mm-hmm. 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the streets, 1 foot in, 1 foot out of high school, boxing gym for me, first year of college. And we had back in the day, they're lacking, in my opinion, as far as what we used to call street teams. Like, this is a mob of your friends, not only your friends, but people who work at the labels that will bust their ass in the street, on the pavement, the concrete, Timberland stomping, putting up stickers, going to the radio station, getting the DJs, handing out CDs, putting up cutout boards. You see 1,000 cutout boards on the light pole pushed all the way up to the top. Like, I don't know if you remember, but they started cracking down in New York on that shit. Like, they was locking niggas up and giving heavy fines for promoting people's album like that, because fuck the graffiti, but fuck the graffiti. Niggas was covering all types of landmarks with stickers and posters. This album about to drop, you better get this shit. You had what we used to call artists in developments, where the A&R people would help develop an artist, give him a look and tell him how to talk to the media and get him ready and inform him on certain ways to portray himself, like building up his style, not like a stylist or tell him to do swag, but you had people that was helping develop you as an artist. So when you enter a room, they're trying to turn you into the star that they see within you if you don't see within yourself. So even back then, oh man, the checks the labels was cutting was fucking crazy. Niggas was getting like $1 million budgets and $2 million for a video. You hiring director X to shoot your video. This is like Buster and Janet Jackson doing video type shit. You getting Hype Williams, so the money was there. It's just what you did with it. Unfortunately, Smif N Wesson boot camp, we never caught one of them $45 million contracts or budgets. We had to work the chitlin circuit. You know what I mean? So we were fortunate enough to.
When you say that,
it's also. I was going to say, it's also a case of when you guys say that you work in the chitlin circuit, but at the same time, y'all already had the industry on notice because y'all had the big dogs acknowledging y'all and noticing.
Right. We was putting blood, sweat, and tears into what we was doing. You know, when I say the chitlin circuit, these was getting to their bags. They was getting money. Yes, we were, but we wasn't. Not that we couldn't compete with those that was getting it. It was just at that time, at that moment, that was like the peak, like the ceiling for the cap for the ball player that came into the league at them years. Now, once those years came and the next niggas from college started coming, now they raised the cap level a little bit higher. All right, now we going to put the franchise tag on this nigga and his camp and give them $30 million. Now you believing in hip-hop more and more. Now, somebody got to take the blunt hit force of it while you just still developing and learn to see if this shit is going to be a fad or not. Yeah, we got to thank the forefathers who came before us, but they took a hit for us. We was able to get the checks that they didn't get. So we took the hits for the next to come after us. Now they got the checks that we didn't get. That's what I'm only saying about working the chitlin circuit, because we would still go to the show and blow them niggas out who was getting the top dollars at the show. Like, they ain't want to perform after we did. Sometimes we'd have to close the show out. So you don't put a dollar value on your experience or yourself. It's still what you putting out there, what you doing, and what you know you capable of doing. But it was so different now. It was so different then than what it is now. Like you said, we got now social media, a bunch of fucking Facebook and TikTok videos and Instagram and Twitter. None of that shit was happening. The closest we got to social media like that was MySpace. So after MySpace got brought out or whatever, right. So after that shit came, then this new wave of social media started taking over. Before then, it was all strictly hands-on. You have to know the people at the label that's working your project. We used to be dead up in the labels with Timberland, smoking weed at the desk like, oh, what's up, Margaret? What we doing today? How we running this? Or which color we going to put on the sticker? How we doing it? Now it's like, they're scared to fucking greet somebody like a human being or to know the business of the business that you in is crazy.
We got to backtrack a bit, Tek, because I was laughing because what you were saying about, shout out to Steve Sola, the Hit King, and shout out to Dr. Funk. Because when you talked about the chitlin circuit, that's what Dr. Funk was talking about. We had him on a month and a half ago, and he was talking about how, when he was doing, with his band, like, they were running them circuits, what was called the Last Chance chitlin circuits, like, because that was the people who had the last little bit of money. So you had to put on the show. Right. And shout out to Steve Sola, who, worked with Mobb Deep, because Steve was cracking us up about when he was talking. King, remember when Steve was telling us about that money that was being thrown around back in the day because of the budgets and all that?
Wipe your nose with them hundreds back then. They were extra.
Right, nigga. You get a piece of them budgets back in the day. Nigga was like, what, nigga? I'm going to car lot now, nigga. I'm going to jewelry store right now. Book that 32-hour studio session. I'll come in there tomorrow at 12 in the afternoon. But we ain't know no better.
Right. Yeah, man.
It was so much money made back then, you could swim in it.
And I mean, yeah, it definitely was. And it's still money to make today. You just got to know what you're doing, how to get to it. Because it's out there. They cutting checks. There's still checks being cut.
Definitely, because we're going to get to that later about how the game is being marketed today in terms of, because like I said, you know, the era, King, and of course we got to shout out our co-host, you know, and Spirit, a lot of Sandman, Lady Chinchilla. You know, we all came up, we're older, so we all came up in an era where the videos were really the social media for us, the Source magazine, you know, right on, you know, Word Up, you know, later on, shout out to Double XL, you know, Blaze magazine, you know, this is how we were getting our news in terms of who was next up, you know, so, and back in the day with journalism and hip-hop, you know, the Source especially always has a special place in my heart because, you know, as I was a youngin' and I really got into my hip-hop journey, which has led me to this present day, you know, along with, you know, my ace pilot, you know, the head of this, my brother, you know, King, you know, that was, the Source is always special to me because that's where I really started my hip-hop education and reading. So of course, you know, reading about you guys, you know, The Shining was just an unbelievable album. And probably my favorite song off of The Shining has to be One Time. One Time was my shit.
One Time is your favorite joint?
Yes.
I could dig that. One Time was definitely one of my favorites too. Yeah. And then the video.
It's just that beat when that beat comes in, and it just has New York all over it. I mean, y'all blazed the end of the stage on 2 tracks, you know, and then y'all had a meeting and the boss wants to see y'all and he's like, okay, my sons, now it's time. You two drop out. You know, what was that like when y'all realized, you know, y'all were next up to, you know, do y'all project?
The thing, truthfully, it was bliss. It was like teenage puppy love, like, because we was ready, but we wasn't ready to be married and shit, had no kid like that. We was ready. We was fucking while we was rocking with Black Moon, but it was trying to rock our hour. Like, oh, you really want to have a serious relationship now? This, wait, I gotta get ready for this shit. So
right.
Because when it was our turn, we was in the transitional period of starting to go indie, but trying to see if we was gonna remain indie.
Got you.
We was recording out of Beat Minus, rest in peace, Mama Dugard kitchen. We was recording out of Beat Minus house. Like, we was making demos. With Black Moon, we was in the big studios, Calliope, going off of DAT machines and reel of reels and shit like that. When it came down,
youngins today don't know about that. They don't know about that today. Man, tell them. Yeah, because shit, you talking about one take, nigga. Rewind what? Mess up and do what over? Shit, you fuck up if you want to. You won't be on that track. You better wait till another song come up. Nigga. Yeah, you want to do what? You ain't say what word right. You ain't pronounce them words? All right, yeah. Who else got something written? Son, you ready? You ready, Shrine? Come on, let's. So we need some Phillies from the store. You know, sit down for a minute, get your shit together. Like, holy shit. Boot Camp was serious, man. For real. You fuck up, you doing 100 push-ups, P. You late to the studio session, you doing 100 push-ups. You don't know how to roll the blunt up, you doing 100 push-ups. You ain't got money to contribute to the weed. You doing 100 push-ups and you rolling up and you going to the store.
You gotta utilize you for something, B. Ain't no free rides here. Wait, King,
Man.
is that my Gemini brother, King? Your co-host King is a Gemini?
No, I'm a Cancer.
No, King's a Cancer.
Oh.
I'm an Aquarian.
Okay.
I'm a July guy.
You a July Cancer. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look,
Yes,
January.
sir.
January.
And we get a
January
bad
baby
rap.
right here.
Like, look, we get a bad rap. I'm like, look, we ain't that damn sensitive. That's why I had to tell me. I had to tell my lady, look, we ain't that damn sensitive.
I ain't want to say it because my lady is a July Cancer, and she is. Y'all ever see that commercial? They could be sweet, but then they could be sour. I was like, yo, I got the turtle shell on the outside, but inside, y'all some cream puffs.
That's just cancers in a nutshell. But I had to clarify for people that's listening. I'm like, look, we ain't that soft now. Don't. We'll ride for the cause, without hesitation.
Y'all ain't soft at all. And y'all tell it how it is. That's what I love about her the most. If you don't want to hear it, y'all gonna give it to her the right way. I appreciate that part.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, when did you all know? Because, I mean, you know, we look at that 90s era. I mean, we got Dre, Snoop. I mean, we can't forget the Bay. Shout out to Too Short and E40 because they were still dropping stuff, too.
Boom, boom, boom. Big up them brothers. Rest in peace, Mac Dre, for sure.
Yes, Mac Dre, man. Romper Room Click, yes. I mean, shout out to Oakland, man. I mean, shout out to San Francisco, Vallejo.
The whole Oakland, California, L.A.
Man, look, 707.
LA one time, I got the beer that just did a collaboration with my brothers, Hip Hop Craft and Craft Beer. It's called Bucktown Haze. Make sure y'all check it out when y'all get a chance to.
Word.
You know what's dope about you guys was, like, anytime y'all would do, like, collaboration, because, you know, back in the 90s, it was so cliquish, man. Like, you would hardly see collaborations unless there was, like, a mutual respect. But when you guys got out the box and did the collabo, it was special. And this one here, I'm going forward for a little bit because I had this question pop up to me. When y'all did the track with Aaliyah for Night Riders, that was special.
Well, I learned down the line that that just shows you how God works and faith works, because that brings us back to 360 degrees. Like when you asked me how me and Steele got together, and I told you Cookie Head, that's my cousins, like that's family. So now Aaliyah was related to Cookie Head on our grandmother's some type of way. We're related to Aaliyah. Me and Aaliyah and Cookie Head are related. So that call came from, again, Cookie Head to her pops, Mr. Dan Houston, and when we put the call into the pops and her brother, and like,
Rashad, I believe. I believe his name is Rashad Houghton, yeah.
So Night Riders was special. Even in that video, that's like one of the first we gave Michael Williams like one of his first shots in that video. The dude
Michael
played
K.
Omar,
Williams, right? Yeah, Michael K. Williams. Yeah. I mean, and to work with Aaliyah, man. I mean, because Aaliyah made her debut in 1993, and she was special then. Did you all know?
Now.
Yes, she is, and I mean, a legendary life that was tragically cut short all too soon. Baby, we miss you up in heaven, Aaliyah. We adore you.
Baby girl.
Miss you. Yes. What was it like when y'all first heard her in terms of did y'all? I mean, because I know we keep going back to, but I mean, you all came up. I mean, this is like the Bulls. This is like the Bulls and Lakers championship eras combined. I mean, when we look at all the things, I mean, all the great music you gave us. I mean, we cannot thank you in the hip hop and R&B nation enough in the culture for what you all did.
Thank you.
Did you all really know that what you all did during that time was going to be legendary? I mean, what was it like when y'all first heard Aaliyah? And I mean, what did y'all think when y'all first heard this? You know, this teenage, fly
this
girl,
angelic voice.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I don't think we was. I don't even think we was looking at it like that. Because again, we wasn't kids, but we wasn't grown as men either. We was street smart. Right. We wasn't that business smart. And we was just doing something that we loved. We didn't. I don't think we looked at it like, yo, this is. I mean, yeah, of course we looked at it like, yo, Aaliyah, we got a joint with Aaliyah. Yeah, but who would have thought 30 years down the line we'd be doing an interview even talking about Baby Girl, or even 10 years from that time, that record would be looked at as a game changer or something that shook the hip hop and something like that. I mean, and what thought wasn't in my head like that. Again, we was just doing something that we loved with someone that we loved.
Yeah.
So when when we tragically lost it, that put a cloud over all of us. That hurt us. That we lost one of our own. So that it just makes you appreciate life even more to this day. Like with the pandemic, like my lady lost her dad to the COVID shit. So may Allah make his gracious. So
oh man,
yeah, thanks. So that's again why I named the album Priceless, because it's so much more than just a dollar amount. With the world without Sean Price is priceless. Your family members that you can actually hold again and tell them that you love them, how you feel, fight, argue, whatever. Shit is priceless. Being we now as grown black men in here, we got to know and we got to be here to protect the babies and the women as well as each other. And, it's just every gray hair don't come with wisdom, your beard or your head. So you got to learn this shit going through the trenches, B. And, I just thank him for making me aware, able to see it, and to be able to change and reinvent myself with the times and still do this shit. Like you asked about how to bring Conway in and still rocking with these people as our peers and something that we looked up to. It's a blessing. It's dope, and it's a blessing, and I appreciate it, and I'm thankful and grateful for it. Every blood clot day.
Man, I mean, that is wisdom.
That's wisdom, game, and knowledge, and forbidden fruit mixed all in one. You mix all that, you got a crazy bowl of gumbo.
Boy, you got to be double G'd up, man, gangster and a gentleman, and know when to apply. You got to come from the street to the boardroom. Sometimes you got to go back and forth, man. You got to know when to apply it. That's all. And we live life.
One thing about it, man, I mean, because you broke that down so beautifully in terms of life and how priceless it is, and one thing about it is as you get the gray hairs, that denotes wisdom. And I tell people, don't look at, getting old as a curse, because getting older is a privilege that is denied to many. And for the education or existence to live long is to show how much you have learned in the process.
Right.
When you look at the business aspects of it, in terms of how everything is today, and what do artists coming into the game today have to understand in reference to, because you all came in a situation where you were among brothers, so everything was even keel for y'all. You know, the business was Jewish in terms of keeping it kosher. But we've seen in recent years a lot of artists, and we won't name any names with artists and their labels or individuals or CEOs that they had questionable practices. That's not what we do on this show. But we will ask you from situations, obviously you being in the industry, what you saw even then, how does that correlate to now in terms of artists today having to understand that this is a business first, that you have to get the paperwork to make the paperwork?
I mean, that's, let me see how to put it. The game, not only today, but even back then, coming in with your brothers and I, has always been 85 to 90% business. You just don't, not that you don't want to look at the business, you don't know the business until you get in and know the business. That's not just with music, that's with anything. That's with boxing, that's with being an artist, a painter, that's buying houses. Everyone's training that they did is not going to work for you. So someone's no is not going to apply to you the same way that it did for them. But you have to know the business, and you ain't got to be a lawyer in this bitch, but you got to at least know how to read and understand the words that's there in front of you. Then you take it to a lawyer and have them break it down paragraph by paragraph or sentence by sentence if you need it. Like for me, I'm that type that, okay, I read it, I understand it, and I see it, and I do understand it, but still, what does this specifically mean right here?
Right.
Tell me what that means, and then, okay, so now I can really do the know about what it is. Now I understand and get it. So upon, like, even today's time, I got to tell some of my niggas, some of my people, like, we got to unlearn what we learned to learn this new shit today again. Hey, like, yo, how you do that? You unlearn it. Come on, B. Don't be dumb. We ain't got time to be dumb. You try to play dumb, and you're going to get left behind. You're going to get locked up. There's going to be some dumb shit that's going to happen to you. God only watch out for fools and babies. So don't, come on, we grow. You have to really know what it is that you're getting involved in. Yeah, it can be a whole lot of fun if it's done right, when it's done right. Because when it's done with bad intentions of snaking your mans or anybody, karma comes back onto you. And then once that hit, it's hard to get from behind the 8 ball. You behind the 8 ball don't mean your game is over, but it's tough to get a shot from behind the 8 ball. You got to do so much different transitioning and setting up this shot and setting up this pass to go here and do this, when you could just go keep it 100 and do right from the jump street. It makes it so much more beneficial. It makes the picture that more beautiful. The colors be that more vibrant for you. And it's easier to navigate through it because now everybody's on the up and up that you fucking with. If they not, then don't fuck with them.
Definitely. And one thing on Tek. Oh, go ahead, King.
Yeah, and we know when we build it about the business appetites, about how everything revolves around this business. Like, I wanted to ask you this, too, in particular. Like, this is going on to the second album, what you guys did with the Rude Awakening. Dope project, one of my favorite projects from 98. And you can tell that from 95 to 98, this is what happens within, I think, even, maybe if it's hip-hop or maybe it's music, but shit changes, like, so much in a 3-year span.
Yeah.
Like, different.
Yeah.
And you guys came in. Go ahead.
No, just finish your thoughts. Finish your question. Okay. Jump ahead of it.
Oh, you good. And you guys came in, and y'all kind of like had coming with a different styles. Because even with Steele, when we had him on, he was talking about what you guys learned from working with Pac, and you want to incorporate that into the Rude Awakening. And plus, you guys had the new distribution from Priority. Now, does the distribution play a role in your artistic direction?
I don't think it did. Nah, I think first of all, being sued by Smif N Wesson to do the name change is what really played the part in the way the artistry was delivered and the project was put together out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I think the name change going from Smif N Wesson to Cocoa Brothers was also like a double-edged sword, like a gift and a curse. Because at first, the people couldn't put the two together. They didn't get the Cocoa Brothers and Smif N Wesson was Tek and Steele. They thought it was a whole new group. And once they did see it, it was new. It was a whole new following attached to it. So we had the family that we brought from Smif N Wesson with the family that we gained from Cocoa Brothers. So now we put them together. The ones that we had lost in the transition started slowly to pick up and build, and all came together with it. So it was more that than anything besides the distribution. From Pop, we picked up, I know I did, a whole new work ethic. So
yeah, because
Pac,
yeah, we heard the stories about Pac in the studio.
Yeah, so being with Pac, which is a Gemini, and Big was my brother too, was a Gemini. I fucked with both worlds. I fucked with both of them. Like, me and Big is from Bedford-Stuyvesant, so if I wasn't even moving around on tour, more than likely me and Big was together driving around in our man Q45, or I would be on my motorbike, and I don't know how, wherever I was in Brooklyn, anywhere, once I stopped at a red light, Big would pull up right next to me. Yo, park that shit, get in the car. Like, what? How the fuck do we ever even find each other like this? But that's how it was. It's just crazy because even together, we never built on making no record together. We were just hanging out as friends, as brothers, as niggas in the streets.
What was it like, man? I mean, yeah, what was it like growing up and, seeing these guys you came up with on, just, your childhood friends? I mean, because, from Brownsville, of course, with Steele, MOP, he knew those guys. You knew Big and Bed-Stuy. I mean, of course, shout out to,
these guys wasn't, I wouldn't say they wasn't my childhood friends from the Sandlot. They wasn't Sandlot childhood friends. I met them. I met all these great people later on into my early teenage years.
Got you.
And then continued to make a bond and make a family with each and every one of them different and separately. But to answer the question about the distribution with Priority, man, we had it in our mind that we was going through the roof once we got that shit. Because you got to remember, they had Master P, they had all the West Coast, Ice Cube, all that shit. So we was thinking, we was like, shit, we about to blow up. Martin used to think, nigga, we gonna get one of them $450 million checks now, nigga.
Be like, my nigga, we made it.
Right. Mama, look, your son made it. So, but unfortunately, it ain't happened. It ain't happened the way it happened exactly how the Most High wanted it to happen. It was supposed to happen. So you just got to learn from that and just keep moving and keep building, man.
Yeah, man. And it was wild, man, because there's a little known. There's a lot of things in the industry. I always refer to this. Shout out to the Lock. When they were in the Double XL some years back, and they talked about their situation in terms of their transition from Bad Boy to Rough Riders and the, contracts and everything. And I think it was Sheik or Styles that said, when you get a contract, it's 100 fucking pages that you can't really read, and you got to have a lawyer.
Right.
And one of the things that artists have to understand too, which is, what happened, with y'all, unfortunately, but thank God, thank the Most High, you all did get your name back. A lot of times artists have to know in terms of copywriting their group name. Because that is your stage name. That is your intellectual property. That is what you perform under. That is how you get paid. I thought the whole, when the, firearm company did come at y'all, I was like, look, this is a play on words that is not a straight bite off of y'all brand. This is
not at all.
Basically,
not at all.
Exactly, but obviously you all had to go through some things with that, and fortunately it came back y'all way again where y'all could have it. How important do artists really have to understand in terms of really making sure that when you're, just from those aspects, that you really, because so many artists look at it from a perspective of when they get on. Shout out to Red Cafe, Shakedown, Flatbush, Top of the Hill. I will never forget this interview Red said, and he said, when you are signed, it don't mean that you are rich and your life has changed. It just means you have an opportunity.
The grind don't stop. That's when it begins, really. That's when it begins. The grind don't stop. All that shit you did before that to get signed, that shit, that's the pre-game warm-up. Once you get signed, then you really start to kicking it. Then you really got to go hard and put your boots to the pavement and be like, yo, now it's time to work. Because you got so many people depending on you, and you got so many expectations, and you got some motherfuckers that want to see you fail. So once you get signed, that's where you really got to start doing the work right then and there. And you got to remember that in this business, a lot of the times, the lawyers are the people who make these deals for you. So you got to make sure you can trust your lawyer. That's why Big said, hey, I got lawyers watching lawyers so I don't go broke. So these lawyers are talking for you, and you got to know they representing you, but you got to represent yourself and know you are the brand. Like they told the younger, like everybody say, yo, I got to get to the bag. Nigga, we are the bag. You are the bag. They got to get to you. You just got to bring it out. Like, there's so many examples, like Jay-Z said, man, we all millionaires in the mind. We just got to find a way to bring it out and put it there to work for us and make it touchable right there.
And, that time you all came up, Tek, I mean, it was really, it was just, I don't think we can replicate that energy that you all exuded during that era because hip-hop was just in a different place. I mean, you all, it was just something that was just really an expression. Of course, you all knew Big and you all knew Pop. When that situation began to go south, how did you all feel about it in terms of because y'all knew more, and we're not going to ask you to give up any private information of what you all may have heard in the street, this, that, and the other. But just from a perspective of when we saw that situation play out as publicly as it did, what were you all thoughts about it at the time?
I mean, I rock with both sides. It was just fucked up to see like these two mega superstars lose their lives the way it went down.
Right.
Where
right.
I don't think it had to be that way, but shit is crazy.
Yeah, and they were friends, and I think that's what really hurt us because we've talked to people, we've had conversations about things, and it's just something that but when you see something, you wonder if just cooler heads had prevailed throughout that situation, if they had just really had a chance to sit down and talk to each other to really hash everything out, you know, could have, because you figure these guys were gone within 6 months of each other, and we were robbed of two
you make a
individuals
valid
that
point,
really,
T-Max,
really
because
spoke
you know
for
I
us.
thought about this just now, y'all. I mean,
Go ahead.
if you really think about how the world is operated, man, and how much friction is going on, you could sit there and be like, most of these situations could be solved within a 2-minute conversation.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Communication is
exactly.
key. A lot of times it's just misunderstanding. It's male pride and ego pushing contest. But a lot of times shit can be solved with just a simple conversation.
How did
You'd
you
rather
all
have
manage to
you'd rather have an hour conversation than 2 lives lost at the end of the day. If we could have got them to sit and talking about it and mash it out, who knows what hip hop would have been, the level hip hop would have been on right now. That either one of these great guys would have been at.
Especially when you see the plans that they had, like you saw the plans that Big had. He had the Big Papa restaurants. He had the clothing line. He had movie deals and Coca-Cola deals.
Yeah.
He had a lot going on in terms of getting people involved with politics. You know, you showed the things, the potential that those guys had.
Right. But
and of course, you know, Pac had the One Nation Project. You know, tell us about that and how that was, how that was being formulated with y'all.
Well, yeah, we actually completed the album of the One Nation that we went out there to record with Pac. Met him up and went to his crib in L.A., stayed at the mansion on top of the roof. You see the pictures and all that. Shit, I think I was at Mama Feeney's house the night Tyson lost to fucking Buster Douglas, man. I cried like a fucking baby in that fucking house, man. That pissed me off.
Yeah, man. The 1990, man, we were like,
man, I was,
whoa.
I was fucked up out there, but yeah, we had the joy with Greg Nice was a part of it. Snoop came through. What's his name? Mr. Danny was doing beats. Of course, our brothers, the Outlaws. It was, man, that shit was crazy. Like I said, it was complete, but it was so many chefs in the pot that who it was another one of those gumbo recipes. So you don't know who put what in there or where it's at. Last I heard, Mama Feeney, rest in peace, had supposed to have the project. Then I heard Suge supposed to have the project. So it was just another historical moment that could have and still could be great if we know how to make it manifest to what it is for this day and age right now.
Right.
And when they did get the songs, they remixed a lot of the production that was already done. They got it sounding kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot of songs was probably leaked on mixtapes. Verses was put here, So who knows, man? I'm just happy I was able to be a part of it. That's all. So wherever it's at, there you go. My jersey is in the rafter with the other boys, man. They up there.
Shit, we gonna need that album though. I'm like, we gonna need that album. I'm like, if y'all gonna end this pandemic, damn it, then leak that album the day it dropped. Leak that album the day this pandemic over at least. That'd be a great song.
Sooner or later, it's gonna pop out somewhere. From the vault.
If that come out the same day as Detox, and the day the pandemic end, all 3 in 1, that'd be the greatest day in American history.
Yes, it will.
Goddamn right.
We're here for all of it.
I'm with that. Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, the era y'all did this in, I mean, where do you think the game started changing in terms of the sound? Because when you listen to some of it now, and I think that's why, because, it's when you all dropped the All album a couple years back, that was life. Oh my God! I mean, the record was just unbelievable.
Good thing. Appreciate it. Big Ninth count.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ninth, man. Shout out to Ninth Wonder, man. I mean, y'all just, you all show how even being older in the game, how this is supposed to sound. But even going back in the day, when did you all start kind of seeing the paradigm shift in the business as to how the music was marketed, and then when you all really kind of started seeing where the bar was kind of lowered for artists getting in through the door? Because like you said, earlier, that this was, gladiator school when y'all was starting. There was no, there wasn't no Twitter. There was no MySpace in, the 90s. There was no Instagram. There was no Twitter. There was no Facebook. Like, you really had to be, either the videos or the magazines is how you made your name. Where did you see the game start changing?
I mean, like you said earlier, every 3 to 5 years, I like to call it the changing of the guards.
Right.
So, truthfully, I don't pay no attention to that shit, B. I'm not gonna hold you and lie and try to get all philosophical and tell you what this is not. I don't pay no attention to that shit. I just worry about what my family is doing and pushing my pen. And when them tracks come across, I'm going to do some shit to them. We going to do some shit to them. Because that's the only thing that's really going to speak for is the music. That's what it all boils down to, is the music. Without the music, there is nothing. Music controls the life. You see what D Nice did when this pandemic hit. The DJ played the music. That's what brings it back to us. The music is why we're doing this interview. That's what it is, the music. So I don't knock or try to watch what anybody else is doing. I mean, I listen to some dope joints. I get inspired every now and then. But other than that, I'm worried about Tek and Steele, Smif N Wesson, Boot Camp B. That's what it is. I gotta say happy belated born day to our brother Drew High. What's today? Was yesterday his birthday or today? Yeah. The Big Cheese. And man, I just keep it right there. With God, music and life. That's it.
And one thing about it on the music,
that's what we all about at the end of the, and that's what we all about at the end of the day, man. Because the music is the soul control and what brings us together. I'm like, we ain't that TMZ type of shit. I mean, we don't get down like that at all.
Right. That's what I say. I'm not gonna hold you and try to break nothing down to you. I'm just gonna tell you what it is with me, with us, with. I can't even speak for Steele because you, like you said, we're night and day, and I know he probably was giving you that 2-hour speech answer that I'd be like, Steele, just wrap it up, let's go. And he like, Tek hates when I start talking. I'd be like, yeah, sometimes, but that's my brother. I love him to fucking death, but man, the music is what can. It's what it urges me on, and then it controls me. It revs me up. It calms me down. It's everything. It's the music. I love this shit, B. I love this shit. It's like a drug for me, for real. I'm high off life. They say, yo, how your name Smokeelah? You don't even smoke no more. I'm high off life and music, B.
That is a blessing.
I ain't ready for that metaphor.
Nah, that ain't right. That's why I gotta keep feeding them. Yeah.
And what you said, Tek, is so real, man. Because a lot of times, it's at the end of the day, it should be about the music. And I think one thing we have seen troubling over the years, because it's about life and how you're supposed to live it. But we've seen a lot of artists get out there on social media trying to invite ending their life, dealing on a lot of shenanigans. King always has that joke, and we laugh, but we're serious about that old New York. Like if you really had problems back in the old New York days, it was, you had to deal with some people if you really got into some stuff, and that was, drama back in the day.
Hey, T-Max, T-Max, check this out. While you dealing with the talk about the old New York, I had to say this too, man.
Go ahead.
We all sports fans at the end of the day, man. I'm like, I ain't appreciate how these Generation Z punks did Patrick Ewing. That man put it down for New York.
Yeah, he did.
He definitely did that, man. I mean, shit, you taking it back there, you gotta say each one of them that played on that team during that decade with him put their lives on the line for New York. I mean, like, we may have never won a championship with them motherfuckers, but they wore their hearts on them jerseys, on them uniforms, and every day they would leave that shit on the court. See, you got to think going up against the fucking Detroit Pistons and the Chicago
Bulls and the Celtics
and Boston, the Celtics was like
that Eastern Conference. Boy, I mean,
yeah. Every game a motherfucker was getting bust over. Somebody was bleeding.
Pippen had a migraine. He had to go back out there. He couldn't sit out a game. They elbowed him upside the head. He like, look, you got to go back out there. You ain't sitting down.
Even as much as John Starks used to piss us off, he gave it up for us, man. Allen Houston, like, these are the people that was there rocking. Like, New York is, again, we it's the mecca of where it started came from, but when everybody can get together and make it happen, that's just like a We Are the World record, a new one. Like, you see it, all these motherfuckers come together. You like, oh, how dope would that be? All these niggas on one record? Holy shit. You ain't know what to do when We Are the World dropped. Niggas was excited like a motherfucker.
Man, I mean, daggone. I mean, I know that, we're taking it back to like, 84, 85 when that came out. And like you said, because at the end of the day, the culture is about unity, which I think a lot of these artists today have to understand because, we've seen situations where a lot of these artists, like I said earlier, they're playing around with stuff they don't understand where it should be about unity rather than using social media to jump situations because we saw, since Biggie and Pop, we saw so many artists, even before them, rest in peace, to Scott LaRock, some years earlier. Stretch from Live Squad, of course, later on. We lost, Big L. I
think they don't get the seriousness of that death is forever. Ain't no coming back from that shit. That's the one thing. You get stabbed, you might live, but death is forever, B. Once it's over, it's over. I think that shit has a lot to do with mental health as well, too, B. Because, like, if you're not happy with yourself or you're not happy with life, yet the mind tricks the body. Body thinks the mind is crazy. It'll have you out here doing some nut shit, B. Putting yourself in them dangerous situations where that might be the fuel of your adrenaline, or you just doing nut-ass shit, running around wanting to get your head popped off, thinking it can't happen until it happens. Then when it's close to home, and then when you're paraplegic, you like, damn, I want to change my life. It's too late.
Yeah. This is no shade, to Kafani, of course, out in Oakland, back in the day when him and Filthy Rich had that little bit of funk, as our Bay Area brothers call beef, and Kafani shot a video. We can only speak on this because this is documented facts. We know what happened. This is, this is reported, but Kafani went up in Filthy's hood trying to shoot a diss video, and he got shot and paralyzed. We look at the situation, rest in peace to FBG Duck. When he did that video, Dead Bitches, we were just like, me and King talked about it when that shit dropped. We were like, this isn't gonna end well, is it? And we were like, nah. You know,
Because this era, they get their kicks off doing stuff like that because a lot of times, for the most part, they don't have to really come outside. They can come out in safe areas. So they get their kicks off like, okay, they can't touch me.
Or you just stay home or you just stay in your house on your iPhone or your laptop. Or stay on your fucking your garage where nobody don't know where the fuck you at. You shooting through the keyboard and becoming all big and bad. Man, please. I got a 19-year-old son, B. I'm trying to keep him away from going down that rabbit hole with all the fibers in my body, man, to make him a better person than I was, and to get him to see how great he is and the potential that he can still become greater. So
right,
it's scary, man. It's really scary.
But you know, Tek, when because you being a parent now, and when you said that, it instantly came to my mind. Exhibit's the foundation. Shout out to Exhibit. Alvin Joyner, we thank you. The Hip Hop Nation loves you so much for that song. Off of his debut, The Speed of Life, in 1996, because that song was so powerful, and for especially every black, man who has a son. That song resonates so much because you were 19 once. You and Steele, were youngins when y'all came in. When y'all really got into the game, what did y'all understand in terms of it? What would you tell artists who are maybe in the streets in terms of where they have to turn that corner in terms of when you're making this a profession, this needs to be your profession and everything else needs to be left alone that is going to inhibit, that is going to impede and possibly implode your progress in said profession?
Let me see. Repeat that. What was it? Why did I think we chose this profession? I didn't understand.
No. Basically, what would you tell artists today coming in the game of understanding? Because, like I said, when you and Steele came in the game, y'all were young, but y'all were able to move into it, understanding this was y'all job now, and y'all handled it with the responsibility that was necessary. But you see a lot of artists come in today where they're still trying to kind of dangle one foot in and one foot out. What would you give artists in terms of the advice today about this is your job if you're going to do music and leave all the other bullshit out of it that could possibly derail your profession in music?
Yeah. You definitely can't have one foot in and one foot out. It is not going to end well, B. And like my OGs used to tell me, like, man, you want to get in this shit to get out of the streets. You don't want to do this shit to get into the streets. We selling dope to get the fuck out of the streets, to have a better life and get money. And you getting as much money as we getting legally. Let's do this shit together to get out the streets. You can't keep throwing rocks at the prison yard, at the glass house, and think ain't nothing gonna come out of that, man. These rappers want to be street niggas. Street niggas want to get out of the street. We trying to make it right. So you got to get your mind right and get your priorities straight, and your principles, and learn to live for something. Because especially if you got kids, it's something greater than you now. You got to be there for them. You don't want to get that deal for $20 million and 24 hours, God forbid, you hitting a drive-by because you was talking about some bullshit or another nigga who come on, that shit ain't adding up no more. We gotta learn from others' mistakes and others' lessons that we can see while we still here and make it better.
Yeah.
We gotta do better. You know better, you do better.
Exactly, and I think
what's dope. I was gonna say what was dope too is that you still incorporate them gems in y'all music, because you got to show growth with it too. It's like you got to, man. That's what we was brought up on.
We said Slick Rick, G-Rap, and Big was the greatest storyteller, but they put them gems in there to let you know, listen, I could do it both ways, and this is the way you I think you learn that more and more in your career, how to incorporate them both, to put it in there and still have a lyric for the lyrical heads that want to hear that, and the gems for the sick and the people who need those gems. Be like, damn, that's what I was waiting for. That I know him for that. I'm still happy he's doing that. So, yeah, that again, that comes with wisdom.
You know, one thing about it, Tek, is you all have come through the game in terms of almost 30 years of doing this. And, I mean, the names that have come in your, because you all are the, Magna Cum Laude. You all are collectively the valedictorians. I mean, you, Nas, all of the Wu-Tang, Jay-Z, Razzcast, the late great, the late great MF Doom, E40, Ice Cube, Dre, Snoop, you all, and one thing about it, you all have, the wisdom collectively you all have gained over the years is something that you all, because I've sensed the paternal pride you have in who has come up after you. Of course, this would, make for the Griselda connection with Conway, as you said earlier, but what is it like to see a lot of these young rappers come up that, really are coming up behind your footsteps and really making the culture, richer? Because, a lot of the young kids get derided for what they're doing today. There's a lot of hot-ass MCs out there coming into the game from both coasts that are really, really, really doing it. We got to shout out A Boogie with the hoodie, doing his thing. Bobby Shmurda. Great to see him back on the scene
home,
again.
Bobby. Welcome home, Red Rowdy.
Yes, 10 toes down, G9. Bobby, we love you, man. It's great to see you back. I mean, of course, on the West Coast, Roddy Ricch, G Perico, AD, Mozzie. What is it like to see all these, all of these, these kids, Cam and China, the dopest dynamic duo with Fine Twins out of Inglewood. Them girls is whoo. I mean, what's it like to see all these, the FemCs and the MCs coming up behind y'all that are just adding on and carrying on tradition?
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. It's dope to see. It's beautiful to be here alive to witness it. I think it's super amazing. I just hope it I don't hope, I know it's going to continue on getting greater and greater and greater by the day. Salute to each and every one of them that you named. The ones that's unnamed, keep doing your thing too. I just want it because I know it can be so much bigger than that, man. It's like a fucking Basquiat masterpiece that's not even done yet. That's not even finished. That you can see the vividness of the colors, and it just speaks to you, and it's so lifelike right there because it is. And I think it's pretty fucking amazing, B. I love it. Keep rocking.
Now, one thing about
keep doing it.
Oh, go ahead, King.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. You did a tribute to the late Nipsey Hussle, and that was pretty dope as well, using the rap niggas joint. How much of an impact did Nipsey mean to you?
Man, I fuck with that dude. I personally didn't get to meet him. I was supposed to meet him, but it didn't pan out. And I was rocking with him before the Victory Lap album, while he was still on the mixtape circuit. So I had known of Nipsey before a lot of East Coast dudes, or a lot of people in the music industry had started really fucking with him, from Slauson Boys and everything. So one of my youngs had put me up on him. So
ever since I heard him, I was like, okay, yeah, he's cut from that cloth. You know, there's few of us that's cut from that same cloth, and once you see it, you recognize it. So I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that. That's what it do. Yeah, and I still listen to his music, man. His hustle and motivator still inspires me, even in the spirit, because I know he's still here in spirit. Only the physical is gone, so he's still vibing high, and I still look up to his music and what he was doing for the culture, how he was trying to push it forward, the culture pusher that he is or was still to be. I think it's dope.
We got a little bit of time left, Tek, so I wanted to shoot a couple more questions to you before we close shop. But I mean, we've loved this time that we've had with you. When you look at Nipsey in terms of what he did with his hustle, no pun intended, what do young artists need to understand in terms of how Nipsey really pushed his product? Because, yeah, me and King are going to go ahead and pat ourselves on the back because we knew about Nipsey really before it became cool for a lot of people to really talk about him. We do go back, I have actually had the double XL from like 2009 when he was on the freshman list. And I think it was 2003 when they actually had profiled him in the Show Improved section. So I was up on Nip way back then. Going back to his deal when he was with Sony Records. What do artists have to understand in terms of how Nip really got on the grind in terms of pushing it? Because, I mean, when you look at this guy, I mean, people got to understand the Atlantic deal was a distribution to get his music out to the masses in a wider perspective. But Nip it wasn't for money because Nip was already a millionaire before he signed his deal off of everything he had done. Moving his music, the Marathon store was already in full swing. What did he embody in terms of entrepreneurship, hustle, dedication, determination, and a singular laser-like focus to fully concentrate his craft, his talent, his passion, his ambition into one cohesive movement, which would end up being the Marathon?
Shit, I don't think I can say it no better than what you just said. The way you put it, but when you speak of entrepreneurship and black entrepreneurship and black excellence, there's plenty of us out there that's also doing it on that scale. Like you got to think of Rick Ross, you got to think of Nas, you think of Jay-Z, you think of Queen Latifah, who's been putting these movies with the Flavor Unit that we've been watching for years. You got to mention.
Yeah, we gotta. Go ahead.
You gotta mention Regina Hall. You still gotta mention these powerful black women. Not also that is woman inspiration month. You gotta do Regina Hall, who just did the Miami Nights about the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Jim Brown joint. That movie was fucking phenomenal. So, you just have to be willing, because the message is being put out there. You have to be willing to hear and absorb and learn the message, and learn from. Once you learn the message, you have to apply it in your lifestyle. So now, like you said, what's better than $1 millionaire too? If you can pull your brother or your sister up, that's what it is. That's what the team is for. Together, each achieve more, and we keep pushing that agenda, and we keep rocking like that. Come on, baby. We unstoppable. The power is within us. That's to all the young niggas. You are the bag. We are the bag. The power is you. You just got to focus and harness it, hustle and motivate, keep rocking. Like Nip said, this is a marathon, baby. This ain't no race.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to shout out, the Queen Latifah, man. I mean, because she was, her, when we really break down the acting thing in terms of what they were doing, her and LL, were among the first to do it. A lot of people think about LL, from, what he did in the house, but LL's career started a couple years earlier, back in I believe, 1988, 1990, when he did that movie The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox and James Woods. Of course, he was in Toys with Robin Williams in 1992. You know, of course, we can't forget 1991.
Sunday, he played the dope role.
Yeah,
he damn near last the whole movie in Blue Deep. What's the name of the shark movie shit he was in?
Deep Blue Sea. And even then, back in 1985,
he killed the
1985, he was in Wildcats. Yeah, with Goldie Hawn. You know,
right.
I mean, and Queen Latifah was doing it in 1990 when she appeared in Jungle Fever. You know, as that waitress. You know, and you know, I mean, you know, so this, you know, like you said, in terms of what you were speaking on, Tek, in terms of the entrepreneurship. I mean, Jay-Z, you know, with Rock Nation, Nas, with the investment he did with Ring. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, Dr. Dre with Beats by Dre. You know,
exactly.
You know, all
even Kanye. You can't leave Ye out of that talk.
Yeah. I mean, with his fashion line. Yeah. I mean, Ye. You know, he went into fashion. I mean, you know, so we wanted to ask you this too before we close shop. Obviously, Smif N Wesson is never going anywhere in terms of, you know, you all are united for life. But when you did decide to do your solo project, you know, what was it like in terms of undertaking that process, in terms of having your vision for what you wanted to do, in terms of expressing yourself from your side of the crew, in terms of really having your vision? You know, like when Outkast did their Speaker Box Love Below album, Dre and Big Boy, you know, they had their different sides. What was your vision with that album? What you did for Pricele?
That's kind of what I had. What it made me picture was like the Speaker Box, because again, like, we are brothers, but again, we are night and day. We're the total opposite of each other. Like, we're yin and yang, but we are brothers. And once I had his blessing to do it, I think it just made it that much easier for me to do it. Because when you're in a group and you constantly writing and you penning, being in a pandemic, shit, all you had to do, that's the only thing you could do sometimes was write. That's all I could do. Write, read, watch TV, work out, go to sleep, wake up, write, read, watch TV, work out, talk to my wife. So you repeating that. And now it's becoming your habit. It's becoming what you do every day for a year straight. So as soon as I got his blessing, he was like, "Yo, Smoke, you in the zone. Just go. Just go." So I'm not letting up, B. I got some new joints coming. I got a Culture Pushers album coming. Steele album is rocking. We going to start working on a new Smif N Wesson album, go back to Life Wonder and the Soul Council. So, we got some shit.
We're here for it.
Yeah, and so are we. We coming for everything
we need another one, man. Y'all I've been putting it down for 25 plus, man, so we need y'all to stay consistent.
Nah, man, that's all we counting on. We're already in talks with Ninth and Crisis, Rhapsody, the whole E. Jones, the whole Soul Council family gonna go back to the compound and put it together and come back out. So we just rocking. We here. Thanks to people like y'all with the platform that offer it to us, so we can reach even those coming up before, after, during. Let's get it. Let's work. Let's win. You know the motto.
Most def, bro. Now, you know we about to go shortly. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give out?
Shit, I think I just gave them all out. Culture Pushers Collective, my partner Steele, my PNC for life, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, East New York, the whole Brooklyn, New York City, Tri-State, L.A., don't forget about that Bucktown Hayes bed. You can catch my social media at Tek Smokeelah on Twitter and Instagram. Hit the link in the bio. Go to craftbeerkings.com. Order you a 4 6-pack. Get that merch that's right there. Pricele's album available right now. America's Worst Nightmare Part 3, City Under Siege, available right now. Come on, man. You know the motto. Let's win. Mighty Muslim Dawn family. Salute it.
Man, and one thing about it, you know, we've been at this at Off the Cuff for 4 years, man. You know, I've said this on numerous shows. This is King's baby, you know, in terms of where he started with this, all the people, you know, past and present, our hosts. You know, we got to give shout out to, of course, our sponsors, you know, Buddy Boy Entertainment, Dirty Basement Radio, Core Financial, and Jesse's Boutique. You know, and one thing about it, Tek, is what makes shows like this so rewarding is we want to give the flowers to legends like yourself while you're still here, because we truly appreciate what you and everybody from your era and even further back from there has laid the foundation for, that has given the inspiration, the focus, the desire, and ultimately the pleasure to do what we do. You make this possible in terms of who we can talk to get their insight, their experience, and our education from the lessons you bestow to us. Words cannot express to us how much we appreciate you so much for this time. And you know you're welcome back anytime. That goes without saying.
Oh, man, thank you for that, man. And shit, we gonna be coming back. Definitely. Without guys like y'all, without y'all, shit, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I just want to say thank you for that. And, yeah, we'll definitely be back to do some more. Another.
Yeah, we definitely going to keep it locked in, man. In the meantime, we're going to be pressing that album for y'all, along with all the content that you guys brought in for the last 25 to 30 years. We're going to keep it pushing for y'all.
Appreciate it. Good looking, man. Good looking. Thank y'all for this time. It was a great 2 hour. I enjoyed it.
We enjoyed you, man. And like I said, look, you know, of course, anything you want to shoot us with to set it up for the album, or any just song drop you have, you know, feel free. Look, make it one big party. Tell the Soul Council, man. Look, we would love to have all y'all on together, man, and just like make it one big family affair, man.
Show.
Yeah.
Boot Camp Takeover. I like that. But yeah, we're gonna put it together and make it happen one way or the other.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you so much again, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Anytime. You got me locked in. I'm here.
Yes.
No doubt, bro.
I'm gonna send you that picture
touch,
too.
Man.
All right.
Say it again.
I'm gonna send you that picture.
You're gonna send a picture to you too.
Yeah, that
okay.
So I got a little time this weekend, so I'm gonna have to dig through the archives. I gotta send y'all some of that stuff, you know, for people to understand, you know, the historical, you know, significance of it, man. You know, as long as we here. Yes.
Definitely. Y'all brothers stay mighty, stay loyal, have a dope night.
You too. Thank you again.
Cool,
all right.